Okay, people, welcome back to another Fwoosh Weekly. As always, I'm Robo, and oh, it's raining. Which is good and bad. It's good because after a week or two or three or four or five of 100-degree temperatures, I needed this. Cool it off a little bit. Although that'll probably make the grass start growing again. Damn it. So if you hear that in the background at times, that's just how it is. I can't get around it. It's nature. It's how the world works. But on top of that, my dogs may come scratching at the door at any minute because they can't handle rainstorms. The sound of it hitting the roof, the thunder, the lightning, they just become, they're just under my desk chair. Luna, you hiding from the storm? Is it raining outside? Yeah. But then again, my air conditioner isn't running all day, so I'll take what I can get. But you don't want to hear any of that. You're here for the toys, right? Toys, yeah. Kicking things off today with a slightly closer look at something we already knew was coming. Here are more promo images for the Kaiyodo Amazing Yamaguchi Agent Venom. Before this week, we only had that initial reveal image, and I think at the time I said something like, well, the tentacles are doing all the heavy lifting here, and that's still the case. I mean, yeah, the figure itself is in a slightly more dynamic pose, and it looks awesome, but there's also the visual chaos of everything coming out, and I mean that in the best possible way. I want to clarify that point, because we're talking about Rebel Tech here. The old puzzle segmented capes also added a lot of visual chaos, but in the worst way possible. Crazy parts and pieces to accurately represent a physical characteristic, that's good. Same concept done purely for the sake of living up to the reputation of a joint system that the company has come up with, that's bad. Capes do not need to do this. There's no reason for it. But tentacles can do this. There's reasons for it. You see where I'm going with this? Either way, I like what I'm seeing here. I'm sold. This looks better than the third-party Agent Venom we saw a while back, mostly because of the proportions, and even though they are exaggerated, they are very amazing Yamaguchi. But everything seems to fit together here better, even with the... Also, once again, it looks like there's going to be a Kaiyodo store exclusive piece with the standard Venom head, the old school Venom head. But that's all the details we have at the moment. This goes up for pre-order on the 15th. I guess we'll find out more there. Next up, ThreeZero has announced a variant for their FigZero S. FigZero S? FigZero S. I haven't talked about these a lot. Valiant Bloodshot. They've labeled this Unleashed, and for the most part, it's the same as the first release, just with lots of blood splatter and some darker pants. The sculpt still has that pencil hash mark shading with a dark wash to it, and then all the same hand and weapon options. There is one difference, though. Instead of the t-shirt from the first release, this has a tattered and torn cloak top situation going on, and I think I like that a lot better. The shirt wasn't bad, but you put it on there and it seemed a little unrealistic. You know how easy that is to do with a lot of manufactured soft goods. Here, it's meant to look just draped over the figure, just bulky and flowing in the wind. It adds some movement to it, I think. The shirt was restrictive. It was very tight. This is flowing. It makes it more interesting. Should I keep doing this? This release can seem out of the blue, especially since they've teased and revealed some other Valiant characters, but this is also just common action figure company practice. It's a unique piece that can't really be used for other characters in this same universe, so make a variant. Get some more money out of those molds. It's just sitting there, might as well try to cash in on it. Take some of that money, put it into producing other characters, and the line goes on. That's just how it works sometimes. You know, like NECA making New York Comic Con variants of their Ultimate Ghostface and their Universal Monsters Phantom of the Opera. They've been available at one time or another through various outlets. Why not make something special for a convention? I don't collect either of these lines, so I don't know everything that's been changed out and what's new and what's rehash. I just know I like looking at glow-in-the-dark figures. I'm not buying them, but I can appreciate them from afar. I like seeing that feature that doesn't really take away from the figure itself. I mean, yeah, the color of the plastic when not glowing, you can definitely look at it and go, oh, yep, that's glow-in-the-dark. But there's something special about walking out of a room, flipping off the light, and then something catching the corner of your eye, and you go, oh, yup. Keep on glowing, you beautiful bastards. And even though these are NYCC exclusive, they will be available on NECA's store next week, so keep an eye out for that. While we're talking about figures that do funky things depending on the lighting situation, McFarlane Toys this week announced their DC Multiverse Gold Label Entertainment Earth exclusive Batman of Zurin R Blacklight Edition. Oh, you thought I was just gonna recite that whole long-ass title, huh? Nope. I got rain distracting me. Got dogs barking. Ah! The Blacklight Edition seem to be doing really well for EE. They keep posting more. And they keep selling out super fast. In fact, I think this is already pre-sold out, but why wouldn't it be? It is the best Batman costume ever created. Just look at it. This time it's just in brighter colors and it has a lighting rig attached to a stage. Makes it even better. But something that jumped out at me besides, you know, the blacklight effect, they put some shading around the eyes. Now, I don't know if they did this to make them stand out a little bit better when everything's all aglow, but I like the look even when it's not glowing. It adds something to the eyes, a darkness, a grittiness. Not as dark and gritty as the regular release that had darker reds and yellows and everything, but the face, it does something to the eyes. They're peering out. It's supposed to be silly, but there's also a seriousness to it that I cannot deny. And I didn't get my pre-order in for this. Maybe I'll just take some black paint and darken the eyes on my Zurin R. So maybe you can do that too if you're just now finding out about this, because like I said, it's already sold out. So why am I even talking about it? I'm just letting you know. Oh, hey, see this thing? You can't have it. But hey, I didn't get it either. Don't get mad at me. I'm just the messenger. I'm just conveying information. I'm just showing pretty promotional pictures. That's it. Just throwing this out, I'm usually not a fan of the slow trickle reveals, but when the product is a year out, I don't seem to mind so much. But it also helps that Fresh Monkey Fiction and Big Bad Workshop are absolutely tearing it up with Operation Monster Force. This week's full figure pre-order is for the Apophis Legion, and yes, it is exactly what it looks like. These are soldiers sent in to try to stop the Forgotten King. They're killed, resurrected, and put into service for the forces of evil. Like I said, exactly what they look like. At first I was a bit thrown by the title, Rapid Reconnaissance Unit, and then looked at the figure and I thought, well, shambling zombie? Is it really Rapid Reconnaissance? But then the solicitation does state that the soldiers still have all their mental faculties. They remember everything, they're just tied to the Dark Pharaoh, you know? They are now his soldiers. But my favorite part of the write-up is they cannot be killed by conventional means. The only one successfully destroyed so far was only after capture and days of exorcism. Holy shit, that's a hell of an army to have on your side. Not to leave the good guys hanging, there's also the Delta Red accessory setup for pre-order this week. This is to change things up for Dracula's vampire troopers that were offered earlier in the year. And yes, Dracula and Van Helsing are on the same team. They're the good guys in this universe. That's how badass the Forgotten King is. He makes mortal enemies, well, okay, I'm not gonna say friends, but they gotta work together. Dracula realizes just how bad the situation is. And that's another thing about the slow weekly rollout here. I see the new figures, I read the blurbs real quick, and it's slowly embedding itself in my brain. I'm becoming more and more invested as the weeks go by. That is a clever marketing scheme. I see what you're doing. When it started, Robo didn't know. Now, Robo is starting to know. And that is no small feat for a toy company. Jumping from one company's monsters to another, LooseCollector has been showing little hints and teases of his The Crypt Great Wolves. As more and more details come into focus, ooh. If this big werewolf is as good as Monster Hide, oh man, I'm in. Gimme, gimme. Seriously, look at this thing. It's bigger and bulkier than McFarlane's DC Multiverse Megafig Man-Bat, and that is a beast of a toy. Plus, look at this sculpt work and articulation layout. The thinness, the elongated limbs, but it also has some bulk to it, some musculature in all the right places. It's a nice balance of speed and power, or at least how I imagine a physical representation of speed and power. There's also going to be options with colorways of brown, black, gray, and white available. That's just different werewolves from different parts of the world. Can't beat that. The full reveal should happen at the end of this month, and that's just another thing to keep track of, be aware of. Oh, This is coming, this is coming, this is coming, this is coming, this is coming. Easing into a little Hasbro Star Wars Black Series news, the holiday editions announced back at San Diego Comic-Con, some of those went up for pre-order this week, and they continue to be divisive. Just one of those things that people either love or hate. If you love them, you're in, you just buy them, you bring them home, you put them up at Christmas, or you play with them, or you customize them, you do whatever. If you hate them, you're going to let the world know that these should not exist at all. Why are we wasting resources on this kind of thing? Because like I said earlier, the molds exist, and it's a fun little offshoot line, so why not? Why not? Why can't these just be their own things, and then the Star Wars proper gets their own figures in the main line? Just move along. Move along. Me, I was more into them at first, but now in the third round, I think this is, I'm being more picky and choosy. I'm just grabbing the ones that I can tweak and then put on the main shelf, like the Amazon exclusive Mandalorian Scout. That blue and white color scheme is awesome. So I'll take off the ugly sweater motif, and I've got a rando Mando for my display. Boom, done. The Jawa doesn't really fit that bill for me, but I wouldn't say no to a green monkey lizard. I know the box says Salacious B. Crumb, making it a specific character in the wrong color scheme, but no, this could just be another creature for the show. Just throw it up there. It's green. Who cares? I also don't have much use for this, but I will admit that the Nutcracker design works perfectly with the Purge Trooper. It just fits right into it. It's quit tempting me. It's way better than it has any business being. But the white Ewok? Come on now. It's a white Ewok. Little brown paint on the frozen blue parts, and ba-bam. I can throw this in with the rest of the display. May have not seen him in the movie, but in my brain canon, there had to have been a white Ewok running around somewhere. Or maybe this is a Hoth Ewok. Some kind of winter type thing. Again, let your imagination run wild. That's the point of these silly offshoots. You just have a little fun. Or don't. That's okay too. I know I was like, oh, we're screaming at the sky, but you're gonna do you. I can't stop that. But for me, I'm gonna have some fun. That just leaves the holiday security droid and the snow trooper up in the air as far as pre-orders go. I don't remember if we were told that these were gonna be exclusive to any certain place. I'm assuming they are, since they didn't go up for pre-order with the rest. So, waiting. We're seeing. For something non-holiday related, Amazon also posted up their exclusive carbonized Ahsoka and HK-87. You remember me just saying, if you don't like something, just move along. It doesn't affect you. Finally, let's wrap things up with Hasbro Marvel Legends. They held a fan stream today, on Friday. In fact, I watched the live stream, posted the information to the Fwoosh front page, walked directly in here to record. So I haven't really got my thoughts in order yet. So I'm gonna edit down the boys talking about it to just the bullet points real quick.
Yeah! 2023 is the 60th anniversary of the Avengers, so it's been time to bring out Giant Man again.
He's all red, all blue. There's lots of beautiful oversprays into the recesses of the reds on his costume, so all of that detailing and the shadowing will really pop.
You've got the 24-inch tall Giant Man there, next to our 20th anniversary cap, which is 6.4 inches about, give or take.
Full swappable faceplate. His eyes and mouth will be able to be removed from under his mask and swapped out with the different faces. Giant Man's eyes, this time around, for the first time ever, are actually a clear plastic. So like the entire eyeball is like a clear piece, and the deco for the eyes is painted on the back side of the eye. So this is going to give the most realistic eyes ever done in a Marvel Legends figure. Typically, a harness like this would be attached to the belt. That's not going to be the case with Giant Man. The VY harness goes all the way down underneath between his mid and lower torso. So as he rocks back and forward, the harness will stay in place and allow him to move around without that belt riding up or getting out of position, looking awkward and strange.
Pinless elbows too.
Pinless.
91 points of articulation. Each knuckle has both a pin that swivels and a hinge in it. The first tiered unlock is a zombie faceplate and swappable antennae. And then the second tiered unlock is a Skrull Giant Man.
A fully realized head that you can just swap off.
Hopefully that worked, because if not, this is going to be a quick section. My initial reaction was, whoa, That's so big. Look at that. Ah! Also, these days, $200 doesn't seem that bad. I am wondering about how easy it is to swap out the faceplates. Is this rubbery and then you slide it under? Is there going to be scuffing? Is it going to damage anything in any way? Can you see me working this out in real time as I'm standing here talking about it? I turned off the chat during the live stream because no one should endure that. And I haven't seen a lot of comments, but I'm guessing that the decision to not include other figures is half and half. Some people are like, oh man, the stretch goal should have been this. It would have went further. It would have sucked me in. But then on the other hand, it would have been characters locked behind tiers for people who didn't want Giant Man, you know? So it's very 50-50 there. But I'm on the fence. A 24-inch Giant Man is very, very, very tempting. And again, it looks fantastic. But as I was watching the live stream in my office, I realized that my shelf with the original Avengers, with the Toy Biz Giant Man Build-A-Figure, is right above the monitors. I'm looking, and my eyes just kind of drift up, and I look, and I think, am I happy with that? It's the same basic design, but then, you know, the hips, the gangliness, things, very Toy Biz type qualities to their figures. And I'm always chasing the latest and greatest. So, yeah, in that aspect, I'm in. But at the same time, I'm looking up while listening to the guys and thinking, well, I do like the look of that. And where I have that shelf positioned, I can't fit 24 inches of Hank there. I'd have to move down. But at the same time, there's also nostalgia involved with the Toy Biz version. Remember how hard the Walmart wave was to get almost 20 years ago? Or if you're trying to get it later, then the Haslab is a good choice. Getting another giant man out there. At the time that released, I was a stay-at-home dad. We had little ones. It was cheaper for me to stay home than it was to pay for daycare and everything else involved there. I was at home looking at the internet going, I will never find this Walmart wave. And then my wife worked late one night, came home with a case of them. And so there's a lot of emotion involved with that Giant Man. But that's just me. I'm just stating my case, which that's all I can do. But it's also the first hour of the campaign. I have 45 days to make my decision. And there's probably going to be debates. And it should have been this. And it could have been that. Or I'm happy, why aren't you? And I'm not happy, why aren't you? And there's plenty of time to decide. I don't have to make a decision today. Just here's the pictures, decide for yourself. And that's all I have for this week, but get ready for a hectic end of the month. If you weren't happy that they only talked about the Haslab Giant Man during the Marvel Legends fan stream today, PulseCon is right around the corner. It's in a couple of weeks. So they're going to show more stuff. But also at the end of the month is Toy Fair. And I think the last time I talked to Veebs, he said he's working on airfare. It was kind of up in the air whether we were going to go or not. It kind of looks like we are at this exact moment in time right now as I'm talking about it. So that means the schedule for the weekly may be screwballed again at the end of this month. But hopefully we'll do some live streams from Toy Fair if we go. Again, my life is always in flux. I never know what's going on. I just wait to be told what I'm going to do. Hey, we going to New York? Okay, I'll be ready. Oh, something I forgot to mention. If the camera angle is funky today, I feel like I'm, well, I guess it's appropriate since Giant Man just got revealed that I'm higher up in the frame. Earlier when I went around to set up everything, I knocked the tripod over. So I had to bring it back up. I'm not sure if it's in the right position or not, an angle, or if something got knocked wonky. That's another excuse made if the weekly is weird. God dang this bag.